Hey everyone, it's your girl Roz, the queen of Manly's Blended Family, and I have sitting next to me this guy, Mr. Manly,
What up?
my husband.
Yeah, it's me.
That's you?
That's me.
So I just wanted to get on something that I've been wanting to talk about, and I feel like today end up being a perfect day due to some things that happened today, and I just wanted to talk about grief. Unfortunately, we all grieve. We all will grieve. We all have grief for different things, different reasons at different times of our life. And we all process and go through grief different. It doesn't matter if you lost a mom and I lost a mom, or you lost a cousin and I lost a cousin, or whatever it is. We all process things differently. We all grieve different. We all feel different. I know, and I say this loudly, I know that I am not perfect. I know that when I lost my mother October the 12th of 2019, I changed. This is the first time that I lost a parent. This is the first time that I've lost someone so close to me, like I lost my mother. I was out of my mind. I still am out of my mind. But at that point in time, I had maybe not realistic expectations from some, and from others maybe realistic. I don't know. I was out of my mind. I didn't There was moments when I wanted to be hugged, moments when I didn't want to be hugged, or when I wanted to talk and I didn't want to talk. And there's expectations I had when I wanted people to reach out, and then some of them reached out and then I didn't respond because my moments, my attitude, my feelings changed drastically. And honestly, it still does. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, but I'm definitely not the same person I was prior to October 2019 when I lost my mother. In that time, I lost my mother in October. 8 months later, I lost my grandmother. 8 months later from that, we just buried my stepfather, which is my mother's husband. I have not had any time to really I don't to really grieve, I guess is to say. I have 4 children that I have to put on this facade for, like I'm good. I have a husband, I work, like all of these things, and so I didn't do everything correctly. I don't even know if it's a correct or incorrect way to grieve. I don't know. I'm still like figuring these things out. And my husband definitely have said I have changed. He said that I am like quick to cut people off, and that was not me prior to this. I've always been a one who like trying to understand why I didn't fit in, or trying to make friendships and relationships and family ships work when I shouldn't have. But I watched my mom take her last breath, and in watching her literally at her bedside, watching her, my husband holding her hand, for those days that we were there, she was calling out for people who never came. They never came. They still haven't showed up. So for me, after seeing that, it was like, I can't be like this. I don't want to be on my deathbed crying for people who not going to come. And I'm 40 now, but at that time I was 37. So for 37, uh wait, I was 39. No, yeah, 39. 38. I was 38. So for 38 years, I have been trying to figure out why I wasn't enough, why no one ever fights for me. And I don't mean physically fight for me, but fight for my friendship, fight for relationship, fight for families, or have a conversation with me. I always wonder why people, I guess the kids say now, ghosting. Why do people like ghost me? So for 38 years, I was doing that. So now my mom is gone, and I watched her do that on her deathbed, and I'm like, I'm not doing it anymore. Did I make some mistakes? I'm sure I did, and I apologize for those mistakes I made. I apologize for those that I've hurt. I apologize for how I handle stuff, but understand, I had no idea how to handle this. Some things are just a blur, actually. Some emotions were overshadowed by so much. And let me just shed some light onto some other thing. Not only did my mother, my husband holding her hand, and some family members there, me there, not only did we watch my mother take her last breath, I also had to sign my sister into the psych ward at the VA hospital um, for suicide. This is all within 24 hours, okay? This is all in 24 hours of time. Not only that, decisions were made for my mom to have a private funeral, and for that I lost, not due to death, but I lost family. I lost I lost family. I mean, it is what it is. Like, I can't even hide it no more. When I say I lost family, anything that ties me to my mom's DNA, I pretty much have lost. That's aunts, that's uncles, that's cousins, that's all of that, and it hurts. Did I play a part in some of that? I'm pretty sure I did play a part in that, but I was the one who lost my mom at that time. I was the one who needed people to rally around me, regardless if I received it with open arms or not. Although most of these people never rallied around me, or even to this day made a phone call to me at all. I was the one who was hurting. I'm still at that point. I'm not the 38-year-old woman anymore. I'm the child who lost their mother, the child who had to put their sister uh into a mental hold for weeks, not even for like a day, for weeks, to get her okay. And my sister hated me for that. Like, she still has some resentment for that. Did I do the right thing? Absolutely, because I could not lose my mother and my sister, so I did what was medically necessary for her. But it put a strain on our relationship to this day. So now, I not only was I grieving my mother, I'm still grieving my mother. I'm still grieving the loss of family, of aunts and uncles and cousins, and just all of that. I mean, of course, COVID hit and all kind of things got crazy, but this is, my mom passed before COVID came into place. So before COVID came into place, I guess I was already, what is the word we were doing? What's the word? Quarantine. I guess I was already quarantined and from family before COVID came around, because I've been isolated. I've been exiled due to egos, due to misunderstanding, due to hurt words, due to non-communication, due to grief, due to whatever it is that you call it. The thing about it is, like I said, grief affects us all differently. And we can't go around telling people how they should or shouldn't grieve. I go to my mom's grave site a lot. And I remember someone saying to me, like, you need to stop doing that. You need to stop going to your mom's grave site. That's not healthy. But that's healthy for me. Like, that's my thing. I sit there, have a conversation with my mom, and I'm laughing, and we don't, like, that's what's healthy for me. It may not be healthy for you, but don't tell me not to do it because you feel it's not right. You're right for not going if it bothers you, but I need to go because it's okay for me. My sister don't go, and not don't feel anything to it. She just went. I'm sure you've seen pictures and stuff. She just went. The first time she went is when our stepfather passed away. That's the first time she went to my mother's graveside. But that's what works for her, and I never feel any kind of way towards her for that, because that's what she needed to do. I need to go on a regular basis. I still go on a regular basis because I need to be there. That's my time. There's some other things that people told me that I shouldn't do, or that I should do, and I'm just like, you can't tell people that. You can't tell people how to grieve and how to process these things. Like, you can't. We trying to figure it out. The one thing that I learned, and I feel like I see it a lot now, but I never saw it before I was told this. Sorry, I'm really trying hard not to cry, but one of the things I was told was that it's okay not to be okay. I never heard that before. Now I hear it and see it a lot, but I never heard that before. Listen, I had my first child at 18. I was a mother at a very, very young age. I did not have time to not be okay. I had to do things. I had to so I didn't know how not to. I did not know how to be okay with not being okay. I did not know how to be okay with being emotional, and not knowing the next second what will happen. I mean, there's times that my husband and I will be talking, and then I'll realize that threw glasses, or I screamed, or I broke stuff, and I did these things, and I'm literally like, what has happened to me? And I realized I'm definitely not who I used to be. And knowing all that, again, I definitely know that I have made some mistakes. I have hurt some people. I have shut the doors on some people, and it's not even about you. Just know that. Know that the things that I did was not intentionally to hurt you. It it was literally me trying to process it. It was for me. It was for me to figure this thing out, and I'm still trying to figure it out. This is 3 people that ate my mom 8 months later, my grandma. Remind you, my only mother I ever had, my only grandmother. This is the only grandmother, maternal grandmother, that I have had in my life. So that is my DNA gone. And then my mother's husband, who I was extremely close to, and was my husband I was doing everything, for, gone. So 1, 2, 3 gone. 4 children and a grandbaby now, but children processing it, and in counseling and in therapy and all of this. So I didn't know how it to not be okay. I did not know how to cry when I needed to cry, to laugh when I needed to laugh, to scream when I needed to scream. There are some people that I felt like, and I don't even think if I ever said this on camera, but there are some people that I felt like should have been there in a different way. Like, I feel like if we were close, in my mind, because I have realized that my expectations and how I felt I was with people is not what they feel, and I get that now. But I feel like there are certain people who it was not okay to send me a text to tell me that I'm sorry for your loss. It was not okay to inbox me and say that, or it wasn't okay for me, because I felt like some of those people should have been at my door. They should have sat on the couch like some people did, sat on the couch, and when I talked, and when I didn't, I did. That was my expectations. And I'm sorry. That we definitely should not have expectations of what I would do for you. I should not have those same expectations. And for that, I'm very sorry. Because I should not have done that. But again, I am grieving. I am still grieving. There are still times when I get messages and I'm toned out. I got a text from a good friend who has been there. One of my good friends, she texted me today, and she said, "Hey, I haven't heard from you in a week. Just checking in." And because last week was hard. My grandmother's birthday was April the 21st. This is the first year without her. April the 22nd marks 1 month that we buried my stepfather, Mr. James. And then April the 23rd, that Friday, my mom's birthday. So all last week was like a blur. I get up and I go to work, and the people at work don't know me. They don't know what I'm going through. They don't really know me. This is my first year at the job. I'm literally at work cringing on the inside, smiling on the outside. They didn't even realize how many times I had walked around, went to the bathroom, like holding my tears and like trying to put on this facade that I'm okay. And I wasn't last week. Last week I was nowhere near okay at all. But then I look at my kids who definitely don't know how to hold it in as much as I could. One of them is lashing out in different ways, but I look at them and I'm like, okay, I gotta be okay this week. I gotta be okay. I gotta push forward. I gotta get to these graves. I gotta do everything they want to do. Like, I have to do all these things, but keep in mind that I'm a child who lost my mom and my grandma and my stepdad. I lost parents and a grandmother. Every time I even tried to process something, death came, and then COVID came. And so my needing human contact and touch and laughter, all of those things were gone. It was just in the house with my husband, who is amazing. I'm not going to take that away from him, but who is also grieving, who's also lost a mother-in-law. He lost my grandmother. He lost our my step father, but his father-in-law, because we didn't do the steps and all that. So we lost all of that. In the meantime, we had also lost my husband's grandfather. So it was so much death. And don't get me wrong, we all had a lot of death going on. Like COVID came through and just swept all kind of things away. And other people, we still have suicide, we have mental health, we have all these things going on. So I get that, but at that point, I was not thinking about all that. All I was thinking about is, Lord, why me? Help me be able to deal with all of these things with these kids. Help me to be able to process these things. So I'm sorry. I said all that to say that I apologize for any wrong things that I have done. I apologize. It was not my intention. Just know that I'm healing and I'm trying. And I love you all.